I slice through the grilled chicken with surgical precision, the knife scraping against ceramic. The sound cuts through our kitchen's familiar hum. Dishwasher cycling, CNN murmuring from the living room, Danielle's fingers tapping against her phone screen. Always the phone screen. Emma's got that chemistry test tomorrow, I say, spearing a piece of broccoli. Said she might need help with the periodic table? Danielle's eyes stay glued to her device, thumb scrolling with practiced efficiency. The blue light paints her face in stark angles, hollowing out features I've memorized over 14 years of marriage. And Jake's got that soccer tournament this weekend, the one in Marietta. Right. Another scroll, another tap. I set my fork down. The metallic clink echoes louder than it should in our suburban Atlanta kitchen, with its granite countertops and stainless steel appliances, the picture-perfect backdrop for a marriage that looks solid from the outside. 2 kids, both honor roll, a house in Buckhead with a 3-car garage. My job as operations manager pays the bills and then some. Danielle climbs the corporate ladder at Henderson & Associates, pulling in her own 6 figures. From the outside, we're winning, but winners don't eat dinner in silence while their spouse texts someone at 7:30 p.m. Who's that? The question slips out before I can stop it. She glances up, eyebrows raised like I've asked something ridiculous. Work stuff. At dinner? David, you know how it is. Rick's got this new client proposal, and we're trying to nail down the presentation for Monday. Her tone carries that particular blend of irritation and condescension I've grown accustomed to, like I'm interrupting something important with my presence. Rick Dawson, her boss, divorced last year, drives a BMW and wears expensive suits that probably cost more than my monthly salary. I nod and return to my chicken, but something's crystallizing in my chest. Not jealousy, something colder, more observant. The phone buzzes again. She smiles at the screen. When's the last time she smiled at me like that? I'm working late again tomorrow, she says, still typing. That Henderson account is consuming everything. 3rd time this week. It's a big deal, David. This could mean a promotion. The Henderson account. Right. I remember when she used to tell me about her work in detail, seeking my opinion, valuing my input. Now I get corporate speak and dismissals. Her phone buzzes. Another smile. I watch her fingers move across the screen, thumbs swiping with an intimacy that makes my stomach clench. She's protecting that phone like it contains state secrets. When I reach for the water pitcher, she shifts the device away from me without thinking. Are you seeing someone? The question hangs in the air like smoke. Danielle's fingers freeze over her phone. She looks up, and for a split second, I see something flicker across her face. Panic, maybe. Or guilt. Then she laughs. Not the nervous giggle of someone caught off guard. Not the sheepish chuckle of embarrassment. This is something else entirely. A sound that starts in her chest and rises through her throat, full of genuine amusement. Like I've just told the world's most absurd joke. Seriously? She sets her phone face down on the table, finally, and leans back in her chair. David, come on. Are you seeing someone? Really? The laugh continues, shaking her shoulders. She's looking at me like I'm a child who just asked if Santa Claus is real. That sound breaks something in me. Not my heart. Something deeper. More structural. The foundation I've been standing on for 14 years cracks, and through the fissure, clarity floods in. She's not just cheating. She's mocking me for suspecting it. I don't respond. Don't defend myself. Don't ask follow-up questions. I just cut another piece of chicken and chew methodically while she wipes tears from her eyes. God, you're paranoid, she says, still chuckling. Maybe you should talk to someone about that. I swallow, set down my fork, stand up. I'm going to help Emma with chemistry. She's already reaching for her phone again. Tell her I said good luck. I climb the stairs to Emma's room, leaving my wife to her text messages and her amusement. But something fundamental has shifted. The husband who walked into that kitchen is gone. The man walking out has different priorities. I spend an hour with Emma, reviewing electron configurations and chemical bonds. She's sharp, gets the concepts quickly, takes after her mother in that regard, brilliant and focused when she wants to be. While we work through practice problems, my mind runs calculations of its own. After Emma goes to bed, I sit in my home office with a legal pad and our laptop. Danielle's in the living room, still on her phone, laughing occasionally at whatever Rick or whoever is sending her. I start with the phone records. Our Verizon account shows everything: numbers called, texts sent, data usage patterns. It takes me 40 minutes to download and parse 3 months of activity. There it is, a number labeled Kim Yoga in Danielle's contacts. Except Kim from Yoga moved to Denver 6 months ago. I reverse look up the number through one of those online directories. Rick Dawson. Clever. If I'd ever glanced at her phone, I would have seen her yoga friend's name and thought nothing of it. But the call logs tell a different story. 47 calls in the past month. Text messages sent at 11 p.m., 6 a.m. during lunch breaks, after I've gone to bed. I pull up our shared Google account. Location history shows Danielle's movements over the past 3 months, mapped in precise detail. According to her stories, she's been working late at the office, grabbing dinner with colleagues, attending client meetings across town. According to Google, she's been spending her Tuesday evenings at the Omni Hotel downtown. Her Saturday afternoon yoga sessions place her at Rick's apartment complex in Midtown. The supposed Henderson client dinners? Expensive restaurants where she and Rick apparently enjoy intimate conversations. I open our joint credit card statements. There's the hotel charges, the restaurant bills for 2, a charge at Victoria's Secret on a Tuesday afternoon, the same day she told me she was stuck in budget meetings until 8 p.m. By midnight, I have a complete picture: the timeline, the locations, the lies, laid out in spreadsheets and highlighted in yellow. I should feel devastated, betrayed, angry. Instead, I feel focused. Danielle's laugh echoes in my memory, but it no longer stings. It clarifies. She thinks I'm too stupid to figure this out, too weak to do anything about it even if I did. She's about to learn the difference between weakness and patience. I close the laptop and walk upstairs. Danielle's already in bed, phone plugged in on her nightstand, face buried in a pillow. She doesn't stir when I slip under the covers beside her. Tomorrow, I'll start gathering evidence. Real evidence. The kind that holds up in court and ruins careers and strips away the comfortable lies people tell themselves about who they are. But tonight, I lie in the dark next to my wife and plan her destruction with the same methodical precision I once used to plan our anniversary dinners. She wanted to laugh at me? Fine. Let's see who's laughing when this is over. I bring her coffee in bed on a Tuesday morning, exactly 2 weeks after the laugh. French press with cream, no sugar, the way she's preferred it since college. She accepts it with a mumbled thanks, already reaching for her phone to check messages from Kim Yoga. "Sleep well?" I ask, sitting on the edge of the bed. She glances up, suspicious. I've been different these past 2 weeks, attentive, romantic, present, bringing her flowers, suggesting date nights, asking about her day with genuine interest. It's unnerving her. "Fine," she says, then softens slightly. "Thanks for the coffee." I lean over and kiss her forehead. She smells like expensive shampoo and guilt. At her office, I send a bouquet of white roses with a handwritten note. "For my beautiful wife, 14 years and counting. Love always, David." I know Rick will see it. Know he'll ask questions. Know it'll make Danielle squirm. The paranoia is setting in. She started asking weird questions, whether I've been checking her phone, if I've talked to anyone from her work, why I'm suddenly being so romantic. Each query confirms what I already know. She's terrified of getting caught, but too arrogant to consider I might already know everything. On Thursday, I suggest we go out for dinner. Just the 2 of us. She agrees, probably thinking it's another gesture of renewed romance. We sit across from each other at Bacchanalia, The same restaurant where she and Rick had their intimate dinner 3 weeks ago. I order the wine, make conversation about the kids, ask about her work. She's distracted, phone buzzing in her purse every few minutes. "You keep checking your phone," I say, cutting into my steak. "Sorry, it's just work stuff." She sets the device face down on the table. "You know how Rick gets about those client proposals." "Rick seems demanding." Her fork pauses halfway to her mouth. "What do you mean?" "Just that he expects a lot from you. Late nights, weekend work, constant availability." I sip my wine, watching her face. "Must be hard on you." "It's part of the job." "Is it worth it?" She stares at me across the table, searching for hidden meaning. "What's that supposed to mean?" I shrug. "Just wondering if the sacrifice is worth the reward. All those hours away from home, from the kids, from us." The silence stretches between us like a taut wire. She fidgets with her napkin, glances at her phone, takes a long drink of wine. "David, is there something you want to ask me?" Perfect. She's going to crack. I lean back in my chair, smile gently. "Like what?" "I don't know. You've been acting strange lately. The flowers, the dinners, the questions about work. It's like you're..." She pauses, searching for the word. "Like I'm what?" "Like you're checking up on me." I let the silence stretch again. She's gripping her wine glass so tightly her knuckles are white. "Danielle," I say finally, "are you happy?" The question catches her off guard. She blinks, releases her grip on the glass. "What kind of question is that?" "A simple one. Are you happy? With us, with this life, with our marriage?" She opens her mouth, closes it, looks around the restaurant like she's seeking an escape route. "I think," she says carefully, "that we've been in a rut lately, both of us." "A rut?" "Yeah. You know, the same routines, the same conversations. Maybe we need to shake things up." I nod thoughtfully. "How would you suggest we do that?" This is it. The moment she's been building toward for weeks. I can see it in her eyes. The decision to come clean, but on her terms. To control the narrative. "Well," she begins, setting down her wine glass, "I've been thinking that maybe we should take some space. Not a separation exactly, but some time to figure out what we both want." Space. Yes. I know it sounds scary, but David, we've been together since college. Maybe we need to remember who we are as individuals before we can be better as a couple. The audacity is breathtaking. She's actually trying to frame her affair as relationship therapy. "Are you suggesting we see other people?" I ask, keeping my voice neutral. She flinches slightly. "I'm suggesting we give each other permission to explore who we are without the constraints of traditional marriage. The kids are older now, they'll understand. You're already seeing someone." It's not a question. She knows it, I know it, and the pretense has become exhausting. Her face flushes. She looks down at her plate, then back up at me with something that might be relief. "Yes," she says quietly. I nod. Take another sip of wine. "Rick." Another flinch. "How did you... Does it matter?" She straightens in her chair, and I watch her transform. The guilty, nervous woman disappears, replaced by someone defensive and righteous. "You want to know how it happened?" she asks, her voice gaining strength. "We were working late on the Morrison account. He actually listened to my ideas instead of dismissing them. He saw me as more than just a wife and mother." "I see. Do you?" "Because I don't think you do, David. When's the last time you really looked at me? When's the last time we had a conversation that wasn't about the kids or the house or your job? The gaslighting is so textbook it's almost admirable. She's cheating, but somehow I'm the villain. So this is my fault, I say. It's nobody's fault. It just happened. Rick and I have a connection, David. We understand each other. How long? Does it matter? How long, Danielle?" She sighs. 3 months. 3 months of lies. 3 months of working late and yoga sessions and text messages under the dinner table. And what do you want now? I ask. I want us to be honest with each other. I want to explore this relationship with Rick without destroying our family. I think we can make this work if we're mature about it. There it is, the final insult. She wants to keep her comfortable suburban life while openly fucking her boss, and she's presenting it as the sophisticated modern solution to marital boredom. I smile. Actually smile. You know what, Danielle? I think you're right. Her eyebrows shoot up. Really? Really? We should take some space. Give each other permission to explore who we are as individuals. She's staring at me like I've just started speaking French. This isn't the reaction she expected. You're not angry? I'm disappointed, I say, but not angry. If this is what you need to be happy, then we should try it. Relief floods her face. She reaches across the table and takes my hand. Thank you, she says. I know this is hard, but I think it could be good for both of us. I squeeze her hand gently. I'm sure it will be. We finish dinner in relative peace. She's chattering now, excited about our new arrangement, talking about how we'll handle the logistics, when we'll tell the kids, how we'll maintain the family unit while pursuing individual happiness. I nod along, make appropriate sounds of agreement, even suggest we take things slowly and see how it goes. She has no idea she's just handed me everything I need to destroy her life. The drive home is almost pleasant. She's relaxed for the first time in weeks, probably texting Rick about her successful negotiation. She's congratulating herself on her sophisticated handling of a complex situation. She thinks she's won. She thinks I'm weak. She's about to learn the difference. The GPS tracker is smaller than a matchbook. I slide it into the wheel well of Danielle's Lexus on a Wednesday morning while she's getting ready for another long day at the office. The magnetic case clicks against the metal with a satisfying snap. 24-hour location tracking uploaded to a secure server every 30 minutes. Worth every penny of the $200 I spent. Marcus Reed, the private investigator, looks exactly like central casting ordered for discreet professional. Gray hair, forgettable face, the kind of man who could follow you for weeks without registering in your memory. His office smells like coffee and leather, diplomas on the wall proving credentials I've already verified online. I don't need pictures of them in bed, I tell him, sliding a retainer check across his desk. I need documentation of corporate policy violations, dates, times, locations, everything that proves this is a boss sleeping with his subordinate on company time. Marcus nods, making notes. Henderson and Associates has a strict fraternization policy. I've worked cases there before. Good. I also need financial records, credit card statements, hotel receipts, anything showing he's using company resources for personal relationships. And the timeline? 3 months minimum, but I suspect it goes back further. He quotes me a price that would have made me wince 6 months ago. Now it feels like the best investment I've ever made. That evening I sit in my home office extracting files from Danielle's laptop. She's working late again. The GPS tracker confirms she's at Rick's apartment. The kids are in their rooms doing homework, occasionally drifting down to ask about dinner or help with math problems. Normal family life, except mom's getting fucked by her boss 20 minutes away. Her computer is a gold mine. She's kept everything, screenshots of Rick's texts, voice messages she recorded for later, even a folder of nude photos she sent him. The digital evidence is overwhelming and damning, but it's the voice message to her sister that makes my blood run cold. Jenny, you should see how pathetic he is. Danielle's voice comes through my headphones, laughing. David's doing this whole romantic husband routine, bringing me flowers and coffee like that's going to fix 14 years of being boring. I swear sometimes I think he suspects something, but he's too much of a coward to actually do anything about it. More laughter. Rick thinks I should just leave him, but honestly, Why would I give up the house and the kids and everything we've built just to make David feel better about himself? I can have both. David's too weak to fight for anything and too scared of being alone to leave. I might just milk this situation until the kids graduate, then figure out my next move. The recording is 15 minutes long. She calls me weak, pathetic, boring, says I'm lucky to have her, and jokes about how I'll probably beg her to stay if I ever find out about Rick. She's wrong about that last part. I copy everything to multiple drives, upload backups to secure cloud storage, create detailed spreadsheets cataloging dates and locations. By the time she gets home at 11 p.m., claiming she grabbed dinner with the team after the Henderson presentation, I have enough evidence to end her career and our marriage. She finds me reading in bed, glasses perched on my nose, looking like the harmless, boring husband she described to her sister. "How was your night?" she asks, kissing my cheek with lips that taste like lies. "Quiet," I say. "Helped Jake with algebra, made Emma some tea for her sore throat. Normal stuff." She nods, already reaching for her phone to check messages. I'm exhausted. That presentation ran so long. I watch her scroll through texts, probably from Rick, probably planning tomorrow's lunch meeting that will actually be a hotel room fuck session. "Sleep well," I tell her, turning off my bedside lamp. She's already typing a response to someone. The blue light illuminates her face, and for a moment, I remember the woman I married. Brilliant, ambitious, beautiful. The mother of my children. The person I trusted with my life. That woman is gone. What's left is someone who calls me pathetic behind my back while accepting my flowers and coffee and anniversary gifts. The next morning, I make the call to Henderson and Associates HR department. "I'd like to report a potential violation of your company's fraternization policy," I tell the woman who answers. "I have documentation of a supervisor engaging in a sexual relationship with a subordinate. I'll need you to submit that in writing," she says, "with supporting evidence. I have screenshots, location data, and financial records. When can I bring them in?" Friday afternoon, I sit in a sterile conference room with 2 HR representatives and a company lawyer. I slide the manila folder across the table and watch their faces change as they review the evidence. Text messages between Rick and Danielle arranging hotel meetups during business hours. Credit card receipts showing Rick paying for romantic dinners while claiming business expenses. Location data proving they've been together during supposed client meetings. "This is quite thorough," the lawyer says, flipping through bank statements and phone records. "I believe it represents a clear violation of company policy," I reply, "as well as potential misuse of corporate resources." They exchange glances. Henderson and Associates can't afford a sexual harassment lawsuit or the publicity of a boss fucking his married subordinate on company time. "We'll need to investigate," the HR director says. "This may take several days." "I understand. I assume you'll be discreet during your investigation?" "Of course." I stand to leave, then pause. "Oh, one more thing. I've prepared a second folder for Danielle's husband, just in case he's interested in what his wife has been doing on her business trips." I smile and walk out, leaving them with the evidence and the implications. That weekend, Emma asks me directly, "Dad, are you and Mom getting divorced?" We're sitting in my office, supposedly reviewing her college application essays. But she's too smart, too observant. The tension in the house is palpable. I set down her draft and look at my 17-year-old daughter. She has her mother's intelligence, her grandfather's moral compass. She deserves honesty. "Your mother is having an affair with her boss," I tell her. "So yes, we're probably getting divorced." Emma's face crumples, then hardens. "I knew it. The way she's been acting, always on her phone, never really here even when she's here. I'm sorry you have to deal with this." "Are you okay?" she asks, and the role reversal, my child comforting me, breaks my heart. I will be. We all will be. Jake takes it differently. At 13, he's old enough to understand betrayal, but young enough to still idealize his mother. When I tell him the truth, he gets quiet for a long time. "Is that why she's always texting?" he finally asks. "Yes." "That's really messed up, Dad." "Yes, it is." Their reactions, Emma's protective anger, Jake's quiet disappointment, remind me why precision matters. This isn't just about my wounded pride or Danielle's mockery. It's about showing my children that actions have consequences, that betrayal carries a price, that some lines can't be uncrossed. Monday morning, I call the divorce attorney my brother recommended. Patricia Vance has a reputation for being ruthless, thorough, and very expensive. Her office overlooks downtown Atlanta, all glass and steel and intimidating legal degrees. "I want everything," I tell her, sliding across the same folders I gave to HR. The house, primary custody, her retirement accounts, everything we've built together. Patricia reviews the evidence with professional detachment. This is comprehensive, almost suspiciously so. I'm very thorough. Georgia's a no-fault state, but adultery can still impact asset division and custody decisions, especially when there's evidence of corporate misconduct and financial impropriety. She quotes me a retainer that's twice my monthly salary. I write the check without hesitation. "How long do you need to prepare?" I ask. 2 weeks for the initial filing, but I'd recommend we coordinate with her employer's investigation. If she's terminated for cause, it strengthens our position significantly. "She will be." Patricia raises an eyebrow. "You seem very confident." "I'm very thorough," I repeat. That evening, Danielle comes home early, looking shaken. She's been called into HR for what she assumes is a routine policy review. She has no idea they're building a case against her and Rick. "Everything okay?" I ask, handing her a glass of wine. "Just work stress," she says, but her hands are trembling slightly. "Sometimes I think Rick pushes us too hard, you know?" All these late meetings and client dinners. The irony is exquisite. She's starting to realize that her affair might have professional consequences, but she still thinks I'm the naive husband who believes her lies about client dinners. "Maybe you should look for a different position," I suggest. "Somewhere with better work-life balance." She laughs bitterly. "Right. Like anyone's going to pay me what Henderson does. You might be surprised what other opportunities are out there." She won't be laughing much longer. The divorce papers are perfect. Patricia's paralegal has crafted them with surgical precision. Every asset cataloged, every infidelity documented, every lie cross-referenced with phone records and bank statements. The custody filing is particularly devastating, citing Danielle's pattern of deception and absence from family responsibilities. I review the documents one final time before signing. There's something almost artistic about their thoroughness, the way each paragraph builds toward inevitable conclusion. The subpoena timing is crucial, Patricia explains, sliding the papers across her desk. We want maximum impact with minimum opportunity for her to prepare a response. She's going to a concert Friday night, the Ritz-Carlton. She thinks she's celebrating her upcoming promotion. Patricia's smile is predatory. Perfect. Public service in a hotel lobby. Very humiliating. I initial the last page and hand her the signed documents. What about the asset freeze? Effective immediately upon service. She'll wake up Saturday morning locked out of all joint accounts, credit cards canceled, her name removed from the house deed. The precision is intoxicating. Every detail planned, every contingency covered. Danielle thinks she's been clever, managing 2 relationships, playing me for a fool while building her career. She has no idea she's been walking into a trap for weeks. That afternoon, I drive to Kroger and buy ingredients for the kids' favorite dinner. Homemade lasagna, garlic bread, Caesar salad. Normal family groceries for what might be our last normal family dinner. Emma helps me layer the pasta and sauce, sensing the significance without understanding it completely. Dad, whatever happens with Mom, I want to stay with you. she says quietly, grating Parmesan cheese. Why? Because you're the one who's here, really here. Mom's been gone for months even when she's sitting right next to us. Jake appears in the kitchen doorway, drawn by the smell of garlic and the sound of honest conversation. Are we telling her tonight? He asks. Number tomorrow she'll find out everything at once. Good, Emma says firmly. She doesn't deserve advance warning. Their anger surprises me. Not its existence, but its clarity. They've been watching, evaluating, reaching their own conclusions about their mother's behavior. Danielle's betrayal isn't just against me, it's against the family she claims to love. We eat dinner together, all four of us, for the last time. Danielle picks at her lasagna, distracted by her phone, planning her romantic evening with Rick. She mentions the concert casually, says she's going with some people from work, asks if I can handle the kids' weekend activities alone. Of course, I tell her. Have fun. She smiles, probably thinking about the hotel room she's booked, the champagne Rick will order, the celebration of her successful deception. I excuse myself early and retreat to my office to finalize the last details. The process server's instructions are precise. Lobby of the Ritz-Carlton, 7:30 p.m., woman in black dress carrying concert tickets. He's done this before, knows how to make the moment as devastating as possible. The custody papers will be delivered to Rick's apartment Saturday morning. Different server, same precision. By the time the weekend's over, both of them will understand exactly how much their affair has cost. Friday afternoon, HR at Henderson and Associates calls me. We've completed our investigation, the director says. Both employees have been terminated effective immediately. For policy violations? Among other things. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. The timing is perfect. Danielle will walk into that hotel lobby thinking she's celebrating her career success, carrying tickets to a concert she'll never attend, planning a romantic evening with a man who no longer has a job. Instead, she'll get divorce papers, custody filings, and the realization that her comfortable life is over. I help Jake with his homework, drive Emma to soccer practice, maintain the illusion of normalcy while my wife prepares for her downfall. She's upstairs getting ready, probably choosing lingerie Rick will never see, applying makeup for photos that will never be taken. At 6 p.m., she comes downstairs in the black dress I bought her for our anniversary last year. She looks beautiful, confident, excited about her evening of betrayal. How do I look? She asks, twirling slightly. Perfect, I tell her, and mean it. She looks perfect for destruction. She kisses my cheek, the kiss of a woman who thinks she's outsmarted everyone, and heads for the door. Don't wait up, she calls over her shoulder. I won't need to. By the time she comes home, she'll be homeless, jobless, and facing the dissolution of everything she took for granted. The kids and I watch a movie, make popcorn, enjoy the peaceful evening. Around 8 p.m., my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Package delivered. Target appeared to be in shock, refused to accept initially, then broke down in hotel lobby. Security was called, very dramatic. I delete the message and turn my attention back to the movie. Justice isn't always swift, but when it's thorough, it's beautiful. My phone starts ringing at 11:47 p.m. Danielle's name on the screen, call after call after call. I let it go to voicemail, but the ringing continues. Angry, desperate, increasingly frantic. Finally, I answer. David, what the hell is this? Her voice is raw, probably from crying or screaming or both. These papers, this is insane. You can't do this to me. Actually, I can. And I did. I'm coming home right now. We need to talk. No, I say calmly. You're not coming home. The locks have been changed. Your belongings are in storage. The address is in your paperwork. The silence stretches so long, I think she's hung up. This is crazy, she finally whispers. I know you're hurt, but this is vindictive and cruel and... Danielle? What? You laughed at me. I hang up and turn off my phone. Saturday morning, the kids and I make pancakes. Emma's mixing batter while Jake sets the table, both of them moving with the careful precision of people trying to maintain normalcy during chaos. They know today everything changes. "Is Mom really not coming back?" Jake asks, pouring orange juice into glasses. "Not to live here," I tell him. "She'll want to see you both, but this won't be her home anymore." Emma looks up from the batter bowl. "Good. It stopped feeling like her home months ago anyway." Patricia calls at 10 a.m. with updates. She's hired David Chen. He's competent but not aggressive. He'll probably try to negotiate a settlement rather than fight the evidence. What kind of settlement? Joint custody, 50-50 asset split, alimony, the standard divorce playbook for someone who doesn't understand how badly their client screwed up. And our response? "We destroy them in court. The evidence is overwhelming, and Georgia judges don't like adultery combined with corporate misconduct. She's not getting anything close to half." By noon, my phone has 37 voicemails and twice as many text messages. I delete them all without listening. The doorbell rings at 2 p.m. Through the peephole, I see Danielle standing on the porch, still wearing yesterday's black dress, makeup smeared, hair disheveled. She looks like she's been crying for hours. I don't open the door. "David, please," she calls through the wood. "Just talk to me. 5 minutes. I know you're angry, but we can work this out." Emma appears beside me, peering through the side window. She looks awful. That's what betrayal looks like when it comes home to roost. "David!" Danielle's voice rises, taking on a hysterical edge. "I know you're in there. The kids are in there. You can't keep me from seeing my children." I open the door but don't invite her in. She's standing in direct sunlight, and the harsh illumination reveals everything. The exhaustion, the panic, the dawning realization that her world has collapsed. "You want to see the kids?" I ask. "Emma, Jake, come say hello to your mother." They appear in the doorway, both of them looking at Danielle with expressions I've never seen before. Not anger exactly, but disappointment so profound, it's almost physical. "Mom," Emma says quietly, "Dad told us about Rick." Danielle's face crumples. "Sweetheart, it's complicated. Adults sometimes—" "You cheated on Dad," Jake interrupts. "For months, while pretending everything was fine. It's not that simple." "It is that simple," Emma says. "You lied to all of us, every day." Danielle looks between her children and me, searching for an ally, someone who might offer sympathy or support. She finds none. "David, we need to talk. Privately." "No, we don't. Our lawyers can handle everything from here." "This is insane." The hysteria breaks through completely now. "You're destroying our family over a mistake. People make mistakes, David. This doesn't have to end everything." "A mistake?" I step outside, closing the door behind me so the kids don't have to hear this. 3 months of lying, cheating, and mocking me to your sister. That's not a mistake, Danielle. That's a choice. A pattern of choices. She stares at me like I'm a stranger, which I suppose I am. The weak, boring husband she described to Jenny doesn't exist anymore. "You recorded my phone calls?" "I documented everything. Your affair, your lies, your plans to milk the situation until the kids graduated. Did you really think I was too stupid to figure it out? Too weak to do anything about it?" Her face goes white. She remembers that conversation with Jenny, remembers calling me pathetic and weak, remembers laughing about how I'd probably beg her to stay. "David, I never meant—" "Yes, you did. You meant every word, and now you get to live with the consequences. But Rick, they fired him too. His career is ruined." "Good." The finality in my voice seems to hit her like a physical blow. She staggers backward, gripping the porch railing for support. "This isn't you," she whispers. "The David I married wouldn't do this. The David you married died the night you laughed at him for asking if you were cheating. What's standing here is what you created. I turn to go back inside, then pause. Oh, and Danielle? The concert tickets were my idea. I wanted you to have something to remember last night by... I closed the door and engaged the deadbolt, leaving her alone on the porch with the wreckage of her choices. Monday morning brings more updates from Patricia. She's asking for mediation. Her lawyer thinks they can negotiate something reasonable. What did you tell them? That reasonable flew out the window when she committed adultery and corporate fraud. We're going to trial. The discovery phase is a bloodbath. Every text message, every hotel receipt, every lie documented in excruciating detail. Rick's termination for cause becomes public record. The company's investigation reveals thousands of dollars in fraudulent expense claims. Danielle's lawyer tries to argue that her personal life shouldn't impact custody decisions, but the evidence is overwhelming. A mother who lies to her children for months while pursuing an affair isn't exactly Parent of the Year material. The court date is set for 6 weeks out. In the meantime, she's staying in a studio apartment across town, working as a freelance consultant for a fraction of her Henderson salary. Her sister Jenny has stopped taking her calls. Her parents fly in from Phoenix, but their visit is strained and brief. She's learning what isolation feels like. The preliminary custody hearing is devastating. The judge reviews the evidence, not just the affair, but the pattern of deception, the late nights, the missed family events while she pursued her relationship with Rick. Mrs. Grayson, the judge says, looking over his glasses, you've essentially been absent from your children's lives for months while conducting this relationship. Why should the court consider joint custody when you've already demonstrated such disregard for your parental responsibilities? Her lawyer scrambles for explanations, but the evidence speaks for itself. She's granted supervised visitation pending the final hearing. That night, Emma finds me in my office reviewing financial statements. Dad, are you happy now? The question catches me off guard. What do you mean? With what happened to Mom? Are you happy she's suffering? I consider the question seriously. Am I happy? Satisfied? Vindicated? I'm not happy she's suffering, I tell my daughter. I'm relieved that the truth finally came out. I'm satisfied that actions had consequences. But happy? No, Emma. I'm not happy about any of this. Good, she says. Because for a while there, you were starting to scare me. Her honesty hits like a punch to the chest. She's right. Somewhere in the process of destroying Danielle's life, I've become someone my children barely recognize. Strategic, calculating, ruthless. I'm sorry, I tell her. This whole situation, it changed me in ways I didn't expect. Just don't stay changed, okay? We need our dad back. The final court date arrives on a gray Tuesday in November. Danielle sits across the courtroom looking hollow, diminished. 6 months of consequences have aged her years. Rick is nowhere to be seen. He moved to Charlotte after his termination, probably starting over with a new identity and new lies. The judge's ruling is comprehensive and brutal. I get the house, primary custody, most of our shared assets. Danielle gets supervised visitation, limited alimony, and her retirement account. The children can choose whether to spend weekends with her once they turn 16. She signs the papers with shaking hands, officially ending 14 years of marriage and cementing her status as the woman who threw away everything for a 3-month affair. Outside the courthouse, she approaches me one last time. Was it worth it? She asks. Destroying me like this? I didn't destroy you, Danielle. I just stopped protecting you from the consequences of your choices. She nods slowly, understanding finally settling in her eyes. I suppose I deserved this. Yes, I tell her. You did. Danielle moves into a friend's guest room in November. A 42-year-old woman sleeping on a twin bed surrounded by her belongings in garbage bags. Rick cut off all contact after the termination. Turns out corporate adultery loses its appeal when both parties are unemployed and facing lawsuits. Her appeals are denied in December. Every legal maneuver her lawyer attempts runs into the wall of evidence I compiled. Phone records, financial statements, witness testimony from colleagues who suspected the affair but said nothing. The truth is overwhelming and inescapable. The kids spend Christmas with me. Danielle gets them for 4 hours on Christmas Eve, supervised by a court-appointed monitor. Emma returns home angry. Jake returns quiet and sad. They both seem relieved when the visit ends. She cried the whole time, Emma tells me. Kept saying how sorry she was, how she never meant for any of this to happen. But she did mean for it to happen, Jake adds. She chose Rick over us every day for months. Their clarity amazes me. At 17 and 13, they understand consequences better than their mother ever did. I don't celebrate the divorce. Don't date. Don't even consider the apps my brother keeps suggesting. Instead, I rediscover routines I'd forgotten. Running in the morning, cooking dinner with Emma, helping Jake with homework without interruption from Danielle's constant texting. The house feels different, lighter. Like a weight I didn't realize I was carrying has been lifted. January brings a letter. Not an email or text, but actual stationery. Danielle's careful handwriting filling 2 pages. I read it once in my office, door closed, whiskey in hand. She calls it a letter of reflection, though it reads more like a closing argument. She talks about mistakes and miscommunication and the pressures of modern marriage. She mentions therapy, personal growth, the possibility of reconciliation when we've both had time to heal. Nowhere in 2 pages does she take actual responsibility. Even in defeat, she's rewriting history, casting herself as the victim of circumstances rather than the architect of consequences. I carry the letter to the backyard and light the fire pit. The pages curl and blacken, releasing her words into smoke and ash. The kids watch from the kitchen window, understanding the symbolism without needing explanation. Spring brings routine. Soccer games for Jake, college visits with Emma, work projects that actually engage me for the first time in years. I buy a punching bag for the garage, start lifting weights again, remember what it feels like to inhabit my own body without apology. Danielle finds part-time work at a small marketing firm, making 1/3 of her Henderson salary. She moves into a 1-bedroom apartment, finally independent but diminished. The kids visit her occasionally. Duty visits, obligation rather than desire. She's trying, Emma reports after one such visit, but it's like she's performing being sorry instead of actually feeling it. She wants us to comfort her, Jake adds, like we're supposed to make her feel better about what she did to Dad. They're protecting me now, these children I fought so hard to keep. It should make me proud, but instead it makes me sad. They shouldn't have to be so wise so young. The call comes on a Thursday evening in May. Blocked number, probably a spam call, but something makes me answer. David? Danielle's voice, smaller than I remember, uncertain. What do you want? I wanted to say... She pauses, searching for words. I wanted to say I didn't think you'd actually do it. Do what? Fight back. Destroy everything. I thought you were... weak? A long silence. Then, quietly, yes. I laugh. Not the cruel sound she used to mock my suspicions, but something genuinely amused. You laughed first, I tell her. The silence stretches between us, filled with the weight of everything that's been lost and gained and learned. I'm sorry, she whispers. I know. Will you ever forgive me? I consider the question seriously. Forgiveness is supposed to be noble, healing, the path to peace. But some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. Some trust, once shattered, can't be restored. I've already forgiven you, I tell her. But that doesn't mean I trust you, or want you in my life, or believe you've actually changed. The kids will make their own decisions about you when they're older. That's not my choice to make. Another pause. Then, "Are you happy?" The question surprises me. Am I happy? Different, certainly. Stronger, probably. At peace in ways I didn't expect. Yes, I realize. I think I am. Good, she says, and she sounds like she means it. I'm glad one of us is. Goodbye, Danielle. Goodbye. I hang up and delete her number from my phone. Not out of anger or spite, but because that chapter is finished. The man who answered that call is not the same person who asked if she was seeing someone over dinner 18 months ago. That man was murdered by a laugh. What emerged from his death is something harder, clearer, less forgiving but more honest. I walk into the kitchen where Emma is making tea and Jake is reading at the counter. My children, my responsibility, my purpose. They look up as I enter, checking my expression for signs of distress or anger. They find neither. "Everything okay, Dad?" Emma asks. "Everything's perfect," I tell her, and for the first time in years, I mean it. Outside, the sun sets over our suburb, painting the sky in shades of gold and red. Inside, my family, what's left of it, what matters, settles into another peaceful evening. The silence is no longer empty. It's full of possibility. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.